Hey, my name is Hunter Craig. I'm 17 years old, and I am now with Ernie Ball and Music Man Guitars and Strings. I started playing bass when I was around 11 years old in Montana, where I'm from. And how I got started actually is kind of funny. I was playing piano and saxophone at the time, and but the problem was I was in a band with a guitarist and a drummer, and we didn't have a bassist or anything like that. So one day, the guitarist came over with a bass in his hands and said, "Here, play this." And then I did, and I loved it. Because before then, I was playing piano and alto and tenor saxophone and all these other instruments, and nothing really clicked like the bass guitar did. And that's when I realized I'm going to be a bassist, and I'm going to make it as a bass guitarist, as a musician. And so I was playing in that band for a while, and then things started to die out, and my brother started getting into acting and that sort of thing. And my parents noticed all of this, and then one day they asked me, "What coast would you like to move to, New York or LA?" And I chose LA, logically. And then one day we moved out here to LA, and that was around 5 years ago. And ever since then I've been playing in different bands and touring and doing all these great things. I toured multiple times with this Grammy Award-winning guitarist and producer Larry Mitchell, who worked with Tracy Chapman and a whole bunch of people. I recorded sessions with this dude named Steve Reed, who worked with Miles Davis, Supertramp, and a whole bunch of other people. And then I've just been touring the whole time, and I'm in this band now with a person named Lyric Doobie, and who is a member of the Brotherhood of the Guitar. And I've been playing with him now for around a year, and he's a great musician along with all the other people. Bobby Rawson, who's a drummer out of Portland, and Steve Costello, who's a guitarist out of Toronto. And all of them have their own careers, but we all come together to form this really cool band, and it's great. We're going to be touring in September, by the way, doing a CD release and recording, and then after that we'll be going down to Nashville to do some other gigs as well. Around 6 months ago, I got connected with Ernie Ball and Music Man, which completely turned everything around for me, because before then I was with a couple of other companies, but it wasn't really working out, and I hadn't found an instrument that I truly loved until I started playing Music Man, Ernie Ball. This here is a 5-string Stingray fretless, and it's an amazing bass. And then I have another one as well, the Classic Sabre 4-string, which is another truly great bass. All of these have their new flat wound strings on them, the flat wound Cobalt, which sound like a round wound but play like a flat wound, so you don't tear up your fingers while doing it, which is great. I take influence from every musician, not just bassists. I mean, I take influences from Sting, Jaco Pastorius, Roger Waters, everyone in the Beatles, Miles Davis, Anthony Jackson, all of these different people, because I like to combine different styles to create something new and interesting, and I like to put other elements of other genres into genres that I'm playing. Like in rock pop, I'll do some jazz fills or some R&B things, and then, because music is music, and you can, just because one thing is jazz doesn't mean that you can't put that into a rock pop song and make it sound good and interesting and hooky. Well, nobody really thinks about the bass because they're not in the limelight. Well, that stands for most bassists. It's true, they're not in the limelight. But when there is a really good bassist, they're the most notable member of the band. Like when you think of the Red Hot Chili Peppers or Rush, who do you think of? You think of Flea and Geddy Lee. When you think of the Police, who do you think of? You think of Sting. When you think of great jazz people, you think of Miles Davis and Jaco Pastorius. One of those people happened to be a bass player. And that's because when you're a truly great bass player, you're put into a unique position where you can influence music and the song in a way that nobody else can. Sure, the vocalist portrays the story of the song and communicates with people, the drummer holds down the groove, but that doesn't mean that you don't do anything, because you do. In fact, you're the person who does the most out of everyone. You influence the song. You make that song sound how it sounds. You can either drive it forward, you can hold it back, you can do so many different things, and you can influence it in so many different ways. And people truly don't appreciate that about the bass.